Nice to ask for volunteers, but this is about like telling a story from your group on behalf of someone that you just met. So which group is brave enough to kind of break the ice? Oh, I see some pointing. That's it. It's done. It's done.
I feel the person who points the fingers is the one who should be speaking.
Well, we gave you guys enough time to,
Get you.
fisticuffs. Okay, who's going to do it from your group? Whose story are you telling?
Oh, I'll start with that.
Great. Good, great.
I was part of the Pink Table,
Great.
and we decided on retelling a little bit of Rasha's story that she shared with us.
Wonderful.
And Rasha, she's from Iraq, and as I learned, she had great difficulties being in a war. Still, the war is going on in the country, and she decided to escape with her only 2 kids, and her husband was killed, and she left her parents and family behind, and she is hoping to find home for her kids and hopefully reconnect with her family in hopefully near future, and all the paperwork and things are processed.
Wow. Many helps. That is truly brave. How does it feel to have your story be told for you by someone you just met today?
Actually, I used to have this conversation about my story even when I was back home, because I work as a teacher, so sometimes the people didn't know how to start to say the story, so I start with my story. After that, they gonna have the brave to tell their story one by one. After that, they, as a reward, they told me, okay, let's tell you something about your story from our opinion. So
Wow, very
it's a good
powerful.
thing.
Very powerful. Thank you for sharing that with it. Thank you for letting it be shared with the group. Appreciate that. And you guys were the pink ladies, correct?
Yes.
Purple ladies. Whose story are we telling and who's telling it?
I'm one of the purple ladies.
Go for it.
So I thought we're all telling somebody else's story, right? So
However you guys
I'll
decided
take
to
it.
do it.
I would like the input though when it comes. We decided to talk about Melissa's story. She's from Peru. Her story started a while back. She was still in college when her fiance died, and she was going into last semester of college. So she had a really terrible time. She knew that she wants to finish school, which she did, which is very fantastic. In January, during the summer break in Peru, because it's way different than here, they have a summer and our winter. Some of the family friends came over from Chicago, and they learned about her story that 6 months ago she lost somebody very special for her, and they said, how about you come back with us, learn some English, how about you just go somewhere else for a little bit. And she was brave enough to say, sure, I'm gonna go. She came first for 3 months, and she really enjoyed it here. She started learning the language. She came back home to Peru, and she told her parents that she will be coming back. And she has been independent, brave woman since then, working really hard. She's actually working in immigration now, so it's definitely very helpful. And because she had an immigration story herself, now she has a beautiful 2-year-old, and she's enjoying Chicago very much. But she's still missing family in Peru that she goes and visits whenever she can.
Wow.
That's perfect.
Yeah. It's like you lived with her, Camilla.
Yeah.
It's scary.
I might want to.
You are attentive
You know
to
how I
detail.
like the kids.
Thank you for sharing that, letting that be shared. How does it feel to have your story told to a room of new faces?
I felt very comfortable. I felt really comfortable with them. Sharing was great because for a long time I haven't spoken about it, and it was like going back to that and how much I have grown. So it feels good. it feels good, and thank you for the opportunity, for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you for coming. That's amazing. Thank you. All right, we've got pink ladies, we've had purple ladies, and we're down to two. Who's going to go next? Yellow or orange, correct? Yes. Stab?
I would like to tell the story of, and I will let her pronounce her own name because it's so hard.
Good job.
It's so pretty, and I don't want to learn it. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story and kind of like shedding some light on this very sensitive topic of, terrorism and stuff that happens here on a daily basis. And she kind of like opened our eyes to the fact that Muslims are, they have bad people and good people like any country, and they have mostly, their teachings are mostly about peace and love and none of those awful things we see on the news. And she came here 28 years ago, and she's a teacher, right? Assistant. Yeah, so she does this for a living. She has it all together. She's a very kind lady, and she told us that her favorite thing is to go back home in her neighborhood, if I'm not mistaken, and just be there and feel, connected. Yeah. And interestingly enough, her daughter married a nice gentleman, and they moved back to Jerusalem. Yeah, after growing up here. So that shows how much.
Circles.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And what else do we know about you? We know that she kind of like tried to convince me to have kids. But the bottom line is that she was my first person, the first person wearing a hijab that I speak to, and like the first time, and she was a delight to talk to.
That's powerful.
Thank you.
And also just to add, she moved here for love.
Wait a minute, there's a little story filler in there. Narrative number 2, fill that one in for us. What's that mean? Found love here or found love there and moved here for it?
No, over there. He used to live here, then he went back to visit, and we met, and then we got married and we came here.
Wow. Love conquers all.
Then I switched to my daughter. Now my daughter lives there.
She says, oh, my American mother. Wonderful. Thank you for telling the story, and thank you for sharing it. And how does it feel to, that's a pretty powerful thing that was just shared, her first experience with someone of your faith. And
I love everyone, especially the ladies I talk to. They are very nice, and I love their stories too. They told us about their lives and how they came here, and the struggle they faced before they settled down. And I learned a lot from them. They are very sweet, and I'm planning to have their phone number so we could keep in touch.
I'll be tackling that a little few. We thought of that. Thank you very much. All right, who's left? I'm looking at you.
Yes. I want to tell a story about Nancy. Nancy.
Another one story. Okay, I know. Let me see
Thank you. She has the way she was telling the story is like I can totally relate to that. Like the way we came to to the United States, we came for love. Nancy came for love. She met her husband over the phone, and then she was encouraged to come and to live here. She has a beautiful family of her own in here, but she misses her family back in Ecuador, which I guess everybody who lives here can really relate to that as well. And she does a great job, helping immigrants as herself. And it was very inspiring story how, in current political situation, how
educated about their rights. So that was really good story to hear. And I also want to add that she has 2 grandkids. Her oldest daughter and the youngest daughter, they have kids around the same time. So we were talking about that as well, how nice it has, to see new generation, coming and growing. Wonderful. Lovely storytelling. How does it feel to hear it told?
It is. I mean, I don't talk about that because it's like, I don't talk that much. Not too many people knew that I met my husband over the phone. It was like kind of like I didn't know him. I was telling also Julia that I met my husband over the phone, and that's uncommon, right? So it is funny, but at the same time I have to work very hard to keep my marriage alive, because you have to start knowing the husband after you get married, which doesn't happen, right? It should not be like that. It should be like you know this person. And I was telling her that for my kids, my 2 daughters, I told them, you have to know them. They're so very well.
Do as I say, not as I do. Is that basically what you're trying to tell them? Okay.
So, but it is kind of, but she came for the same reason. But the advantage of her is that she has Skype, FaceTime, WhatsApp. I didn't, so.
But brave. Thank you. Thank you for letting that be shared. And one of the things that seems to be a common thread, as it usually is when women are in a room, is that idea of what we want for our families, for our children, what we hope for. I mean, there's a lot of struggle that took place among this group and the stories that you told. So, tell us a little bit. Whoever just wants to jump in, like, what do you wish for your children, if you have them now, or if you plan to have them? Like, what is that different life that you want them to be able to experience that without the hardship, perhaps, that you went through? What do you envision for them? Jump in. I don't have any, but I have a husband, so that's kind of the same. As you well know.
I think that I want my children to have a big family. So I'm in the United States, just my sisters and my parents, that's it. And my boyfriend has a little bigger family, however, his whole family is also all over the world at the moment. So I guess I'm hoping to have a lot of children, so they have a lot of children, so at some point there's 100 people reunion coming in all together, and they can walk over to each other's houses. We were talking about how fun it is when families live very close to each other, so you can just walk and say, hey, I'm just here for a cookie or for a tea or for whatnot. And not like my parents right now, it takes 45 minutes for me to get to see them, and that's pretty far. So sometimes I'm just being lazy and I say, oh, I don't feel like driving all the way there after a tired day of work. So I guess I want my family to be close and big.
So kind of the same, you want them to do what you say, not what you do.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Stay here with me, kids. Don't move anywhere.
Who else? Like, let's get one more comment. Come on, please.
I don't have kids. I don't have a husband.
It's okay.
But I guess if I just had to say more so like for the kids of the future generation, I'd say more so like the ease and being able to live in a world where there are really no boundaries, and the perceptions about people from different countries have changed, and we're still not being influenced by the media or being influenced by what other people talk about people from certain countries or colors, but more so people have been exposed and they understand where everyone's coming from. That way, their perception about people from different countries are different. I guess more open world, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a powerful woman's theme, right? Wanting more for everybody. Thank you. That's great. Last question before we kind of, tee up and give you a little some logistics on wrapping this up. In your group, what surprised you? What Like, what's a takeaway where it was like, wow, I'm going to remember that sentence, that word, that sentiment? What'd you learn?
Family is important. I think we talk, Kim also talk about family. I think we all miss family when you don't have them here with you. Meaning your siblings, your parents, and you have your husband, you have your daughters in my case, but you still miss your parents, your siblings. And I think we have in common with even with Kim, family.
Yeah, definitely family. That was a common thing. Actually, how much in common we have. We all come from like different backgrounds, but the family was like one thing, but also like missing food. We were talking about how hard it's to find like the seasonal fruit that we like, and so like we exchange information. And at the end, it's like, oh, this is the store that you should go to because they have everything. You can find this. So that was interesting how even though we come from different backgrounds, different countries, like we have so many things in common.
Different age.
Yeah.
Right, what a generational spread we have here tonight, and so much in common. Thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
That was
Very
interesting.
interesting.
I'd like to, let me just call it Arletta, who's run really, really fantastic. Thank you for that.
No, thank
Right
you guys
young
all for
woman.
coming. Like, really, this was one of the things that we really wanted to do because, like Eva mentioned before, just immigration and women is such a hot topic right now. And I learned.
I love you.
I'm so sorry. This woman watched me grow up, and I'm so embarrassed that you guys know more about her now than I do. And I was not supposed to cry.
Yeah.
This was not.
So thank you guys all for coming and sharing your experiences and your stories because we've noticed that all these immigrant communities, there's so many of us here in Chicago. There's such a big Chinese community, a huge Polish community, an Arabic community. There's so many of us. But we all get so comfortable in our own little bubble and we forget to reach out to other people. And we all have, well, I don't have the same stories as you.